Today we will run through the basics of using Adobe Premiere Pro 2023. In this tutorial we will cover the following topics. These topics are important to learn before editing a video in Premiere Pro. First, you open up Premiere Pro. This is the screen that you're going to land on when you open the software. If you are starting a new project, hit Create Project, and if you're opening a project you've already started, look up the project file. Premiere will ask you to name the file and find a place to save it. If you are using a school computer, save it on your personal external drive. If you are working in the labs in Abrams, make sure you use an external drive because the computers do not save your data after you log out. Once you create your file, you will open a new project session and there will be an empty timeline. So this is where you're going to put your content. You need to import the media into your project. You will go to File, then a drop-down menu will appear. Go down to where it says Import. Select the content you want to use in your video and hit Import. Once you do so, it will appear in your library. If you are working on a big project, it may be helpful to sort your media. You can create bins, which are folders that you could put your media into. In the box where your media has gone, right-click in some empty space and click New Bin. To move content into the bin, you drag it into the bin. If you're selecting a large amount of content at once, you hold Control while you click on each item and then drag. To start editing, drag a file onto the timeline. You can move it and add many other files as well. Right next to the timeline, you will see a mini toolbar. I've added the names of all of the items on the toolbar, but we'll be going over just a few of them today. But before we get into that, Edit Undo is your best friend. If you want to test something to see how it will look or sound, do it. Then if you don't like it, you can always undo it. It is not in this taskbar. Obviously, you go to the top where it says Edit Undo. This is a great tool. So the top arrow in the toolbar allows you to drag and move items onto the timeline. The fourth one down is the razor blade, which allows you to cut content. If you want to use only the first half of your video, you can cut it with the razor blade. There is also a text key on the bottom if you want to add text, but there's another way to do that as well, which I will show you a little bit later on. On the far right, you'll notice a bar with many different drop-down menus. There's Info, Effects, Essential Graphics, Essential Sound, Lumetri Color, Metadata, Markers, History, Events, and Timecode. Really the top half of that is like the most important for our purposes. Info is really straightforward. It just provides information about the project file itself. Effects is really important. There are lighting presets, audio effects and transitions, and video effects and transitions. And there are so many different presets, effects, and transitions, but we'll just show you the most commonly used ones today. There are a few different audio transitions which can be found by clicking on Audio Transitions, then Crossfade. First, constant power and gain increase the music slowly, while an exponential fade decreases the music slowly. You drag them onto the audio file and drag them to the desired length. There are many different audio effects you can use to change the overall sound. Since there are a lot, try to use them with your audio and compare the different effects. If you want to increase or decrease the volume, right-click on the audio file and go to Audio Gain, and that's where you can increase or decrease the volume by using decibels. There are many different video transitions, but today we will discuss the transitions under Dissolve. These are the most commonly used transitions since they are clean, simple, and professional looking. A good transition for in between shots and content is across dissolve. This will make the end of the first piece of content dissolve into the start of the next clip. This makes for a smooth transition. Dip to black is a great transition at the end of the video or at the end of different segments of the video. Test out the other video transitions as they may better fit your project, but these are the most commonly used ones. The different video effects allow you to adjust and change the overall display of your content. You can try them as well, but it is important to understand all of the skills in this video first before you try these other effects. Under Effects, there is also the Essential Graphics tab. This is where you can find text presets like generic text, lower thirds, credits, and more. This can be really useful when using text in video. Under that is Essential Sound. There's Adobe stock content that you can use for your Essential Sound. Remember, use copyright-free content in your work. Next, there's Lumetri Color. This is where you can color grade and adjust how your content looks. Is your character overexposed? Does the lighting make them look orange? Is your footage too dark? In this tab, you can use presets and use different settings within color and light to change how your footage looks. When you're done, go to Sequence, Render into Out. Your content contains lots of frames, transitions, and effects, so it needs to be rendered so it looks clean and it's more compressed. Then, before exporting, save your file and save over the original project file. This is saved as an Adobe Premiere project file. So let's say you're doing a project for class and forgot that it required music or an establishing shot. Since you still have the project file, you can reopen it and add whatever you're missing. So after it's done rendering, which can take some time, go to File, Export, Media. Then it will ask you to change the name of what is being saved, the format of how it should be saved, then the location of where it should be exported to. Depending on the length of the video, it could take a while, but use the settings that I've included on this video, but of course, put it in the location and give it the name that makes the most sense. But again, save the video in the project file where all the content for the video is. Once it is done, you're good to go. Just remember, if you're using a school computer, use an external drive and remember to save it in the folder where your content and project file is. I hope this video helped.